Hey guys, I know it's been a while. Got really burnt out, still kind of burnt out, but I wanted to make this video, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it one take, and yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is a project I just recently finished up. This is my server cluster here, and we will go over each and every one of these. Down here, we have a VGA USB KVM. Comes in really handy. Allows you to swap between 4 different systems with this thing here, and the buttons on there. Allows you to switch between 4 different outputs, which works perfectly because I have 4 servers here. Do have a 5th server. We'll get into that later. We all know this server very well. This is Theme Park server, and it has 40 cores and 80 threads across 2 nodes. It has 2 20-core, 40-threaded CPUs, and as well, as we can kind of see here, there we go, we have 3 Quadro cards in there now. I just went ahead and took out the Titan XP, put that into my main computer, and then found some more Quadros for cheap, and just threw them in there. The Quadro M5000 there up on top is the main GPU for the server. The Quadro M4000 and K6000 are in there in the event that they are needed for whatever reason, but they are also in there for virtual machines, just to be another output if necessary for whatever virtual machine I want to run. It has 128 gigs of DDR4 ECC memory inside, as well as a plethora of SSDs and hard drives. 1 hard drive and SSD combo for the main system, and then 3 more hard drive and SSD combos for the virtual machines. Down here, we have Voltron / Edinator / Clipboard. The Voltron pool is 4 4TB hard drives in RAID Z1, I believe, so it has 1 drive of redundancy. Gives me about 10.4 terabytes to work with. There's also Clipboard in here, which is just 3 3TB hard drives in RAID Z1 put together. I had them, so just went ahead and threw them in here. Gives me about 5.5 terabytes or so. Right now, I just use it as backup storage because all of my data is under 5.5 terabytes right now. So I can keep an extra copy there for the moment. But of course, I'll have to fix that later on. And then we also have Edinator in here. Edinator is 6 2.5-inch SATA 3 SSDs. I also went ahead and upgraded to 10 gig, and I can rip about 714 megabytes per second, I believe, is the fastest I've seen this hit so far. So fairly happy with that. Not quite reaching full 10 gig, but I'll take 7 gig. Moving up here, this also has 64 gigabytes of RAM inside of it, and again, an 18-core CPU is in here simply because I had it, and I haven't had anything else to swap it out with yet, so it's just staying in there. It's been working great. The old Dell Precision T3600. For those of you who have been around for a while, this was my main server machine for a couple of years. And it was retired when Theme Park server here was built. But now it has a use again. It is a Ollama AI server. It has 32 gigs of system RAM, it has an 8-core 16-threaded CPU, and I put a GTX 1080 inside of it. So it has 8 gigs of video memory to chew on for AI tasks, and if it needs to overflow, it has 32 gigs of system RAM to use, and I have been considering upgrading that to 64 gigabytes as well. I don't really need it, but if I come across a good deal on RAM, which 64 gigabytes of DDR3 ECC It's actually not a bad price right now, shockingly. So yeah, it has an SSD in here for Windows. Yes, I'm still running Windows on it. It's what I know, and it works perfectly fine for what I'm doing with it currently. Has an SSD on here for Windows and another SSD on it to hold the AI models. And then there's also a hard drive that it writes all of the data to. So if I ask a question and it gives me a response, all of that gets put into a very basic text document that goes onto the hard drive on here. And then this one you guys have not seen yet. This is Hermes server. And at some point I would like to make the video that I recorded building it. I was sick at the time when I was building it, so I have to do a voiceover for it. And so that'll happen eventually. At some point I'll get around to it. But yes, this is Hermes server. This has some leftover parts. The motherboard that is in it is, I believe, an MSI Nighthawk? Tomahawk? One of those. Basically, it had all of the PCIe slots on it that I wanted, and it also had 2.5 gig on board, which I'm very happy about. My old Ryzen 3800X is in here, so it can run all 8 cores and 16 threads at about 4 gigahertz. And single core performance, it can turbo higher here and there. I built this so that I could put all of the Minecraft servers on it and whatever other faster IPC tasks that I needed that this couldn't handle, because yes, there's 40 cores and 80 threads in here, but they're all slower cores. So I went ahead and built the Hermes server to compensate for the slow cores. If it's something that needs fast cores or fast single-threaded performance or fast IPC or whatever, I can check it onto this guy. Also forgot to mention, this is Jarvis server right here. I was going to call it just AI server, but I like the Jarvis server a little bit better. Back to this guy. It has 32 gigs of RAM. I believe it's 32 gigs of either 3600 or 3800. I want to say 3600, I could be wrong. I think it's CL18, if I remember correctly. It's running great. Right now it just has a Quadro K600 inside of it. That's going to get swapped out for a 1050 Ti whenever I get the... I really want to put an GTX 1070 ROG Strix, maybe a 2060 ROG Strix, into my bedroom computer. And once that happens, the GPU in that is going to go into another computer, and then the GPU that's in that computer, which is 1050 Ti, will be put into this guy. And then this guy will have a much better GPU to work with in the event that it needs it for encoding or something like that. And so, yeah. I do have a 5th server that is in the other room. It is basically just another TrueNAS box, and it also keeps a backup of all of my data. That way, in the event that for some reason this machine goes down, I still have all of my data on a separate machine. I have made a video about that on the YouTube channel. Can't remember which exact video it is, but if you go looking for backup NAS server on my page, you should be able to find it. And of course we have the printer up there. Still works perfectly fine up there on top of all the stuff. I'm not printing all that often. 3D printing for me has turned into more of a tool than a hobby. I use it when I need to. So that is about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one. I also have some cameras that I need to maybe do some reviews on, or update my collection, or not entirely sure yet, but we'll see. Have a good one, guys. Also, if you're new and you were curious as to why there's just a door here, at one point we were working on an N-scale layout, and the door needed to come out, otherwise you wouldn't be able to get into the closet. So that's that. See you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed.